Hello and welcome to Derby Day FC, where we discuss football's greatest rivalries. Let's get into the game. So it's the quarterfinals of the African Cup of Nations, and it's really exciting. I'm so excited for this one. If you watch my last video, and by the way, if you haven't, make sure you check it out on my channel. We talked about the clash between the DRC and Algeria. It wasn't the most exciting clash. Like I predicted, it was a tight game. However, congratulations to Algeria for making it through into the quarterfinals. Today, we're here to talk about the quarterfinals. We have 8 teams left, four games that could define the 2025 AFCON. When I was looking at the games, I wanted to pick a single game to talk about, but it was just so difficult for me to do that. The clashes are just too good. And we're going to dive and look at, all of those games. I mean, it's knockout football. At this stage, you either win or you go home. So just imagine how much pressure there is. There's a lot to talk about. Let's dive into it. So I wanted to start off first by looking at the different matchups that we have. I'll talk about, you know, what I find interesting about each encounter, highlight probably what to look out for each team from each team, and then look at what players are there to watch. And then I'll make my predictions as well, and then I'll share some interesting facts about the AFCON quarterfinals with you. So let's get into the game. The first game is Mali versus Senegal, right? This is a West African familiarity that on Friday it's going to turn into tension and chaos. They know each other's players so well. They know each other's strengths, and they know what to expect. What is dangerous from each side. Senegal, of course, arrives with a lot of expectations. Last AFCON, they did not live up to their expectations. So I imagine that this AFCON, they really want to do their best. Mali arrives with a lot of belief, and I'm 100% that they will be a handful for Senegal. So, Senegal's reputation doesn't protect it. It doesn't protect them. This is going to be a clash of strength. Both countries, they play very physical, and so it's going to be really interesting. What players to watch for this encounter? I've picked Yves Bissouma just because he's the engine of that Malian team, right? If Mali is going to survive Senegal's pressure, then they have to play through Bissouma. He has to win his duels. He has to control the game, and he has to help Mali breathe. Make some passes, make sure that there's a flow in the game. So my prediction for this one is, I think it'll be tight, but I have to go with Senegal. Just their experience, they know how to manage the pressure. They have quality in their team from defense right up to attack. Now let's move on to Cameroon versus Morocco. Le Continent versus the host. So this is where power meets precision, right? Cameroon brings intensity, physicality, and AFCON pedigree. Morocco, on the other hand, comes with a lot of structure, patience, and their home advantage. A lot of the time, people don't know this, but home advantage can be pressure as well. So in this game, there's going to be a lot of emotions, but discipline will be tested as well. So my player to watch for this game is Brahim Diaz from Morocco. He brings something that the Cameroonians wouldn't want, right? That is, they wouldn't want to defend against too much movement, breaking the lines, quick turns, decisive fine balls. So I think the Cameroonians should watch out for this. Who do I pick to win from this encounter? Like I mentioned earlier, home support can quickly turn into tension. I was in Cameroon in 2022 when we hosted the African Cup of Nations, and that semi-final game against Egypt, I could see how tension just built and built, and at the end, we couldn't manage that tension at all. So I think Morocco might find it hard to break Cameroon, and the tension might just build up. And so I'm going with Cameroon. Next up is Algeria versus Nigeria. So these are two heavyweights, two different African philosophies, or football philosophies. Sorry, Algeria values control and rhythm. Nigeria, on the other hand, they bring pace, they bring power, and a direct threat with Victor Osimhen. So this AFCON, this is going to be, to me, this is going to be the most balanced quarterfinals out of all. And it's going to be really, I think, entertaining back and forth. So there are no underdogs here, there are no excuses. This is a huge, encounter of the giants. Nigeria they made it up to the finals of the last AFCON, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And Algeria, on the other hand, like I mentioned, they went home, but they were winners in 2019. Player to watch, I will go with Victor Osimhen just because he's deadly, he's relentless, he's direct, and he's really unforgiving to himself, to the opponent, and to his teammates. So this is definitely one to watch out for. Last one is Egypt versus Ivory Coast. Guys, this is another huge, huge clash. So Egypt plays with history on their shoulders. If they win this, this will be their seventh tournament. There's their seventh African Cup of Nations trophy. I don't want them to do it. I want Cameroon to catch up with them. I'm a little bit selfish, sorry. Ivory Coast, on the other hand, they play with momentum and confidence. Experience here versus ambition. It's what we're going to see in play. Control versus expression. Um, and so this quarterfinal stage is really going to be a match that I think we'll not see any of this again in the competition. This is really going to be explosive, and I'm looking forward to it. I think it's about who handles the moment more, who handles it better. Egypt, of course, being in North Africa, they're going to have a huge crowd with them. Ivory Coast, they need to control their emotions. And for this one, I'm going with Ivory Coast just because of what they bring to the table with their experience. The Egyptian team is a little bit older, to be honest. So I think for this one, I'm definitely going with Ivory Coast. What player to watch? It has to be Ahmed Diallo, right? He's the guy of the moment. He carries, I think, a lot of quick feet, unpredictability. Let me put it that way: quick feet, sharp movement, and he's a guy who has the courage, right, to take up on responsibilities when things are tough. We've seen that in the group stages and in the last 16 as well. So he's my guy. He's my man to watch out for. At the end of Sunday or on Sunday, we will have four teams that remain, and I believe history is going to write itself. Like I promised you at the beginning of the video, I'm going to share with you some stats from AFCON. Over 60% of AFCON qualifier of quarterfinal games finish with 2 goals or fewer. So very little goals are scored at the quarterfinal stage. The teams that score first in AFCON quarterfinals usually advance by 70%. So if you score, you have a high probability. If your country scores, if your team scores, you guys have a high probability that you're going to win the game. 70%. Top ranked teams are eliminated more often in the quarterfinals than in the semifinals. So all the top ranked teams, guys, I don't think there's any underdog, by the way, in this quarterfinals. But usually those teams that are top ranked in the quarterfinals, they're often more than often eliminated. And finally, around 65 to 70% of AFCON quarterfinals are decided by a single goal. So that backs up the first start, right? So guys, that's the end of the video. Let me know what you think. Give me your own predictions about who you think will win these encounters in the comment section. We are on our journey to 500 subscribers. So please like this video, share within your network, and let's continue to build a community of football. Thank you for watching, and catch you on the next one.